50 of the biggest secrets WWE doesn't want to tell you. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new channel, Wrestlelamia Shorts. Number 50. Wrestlers talk during matches. Now, have you ever wondered how wrestlers remember all the spots for their match? Well, you don't have to. Wrestlers discreetly communicate with each other during a match and remind each other what spot should come next. WWE legend John Cena is notorious for spot calling and seems to have a habit of declaring spots in a very obvious manner. Number 49. What you didn't see at the Royal Rumble 2017. The 2017 Royal Rumble took place in the Alamo Dome in Texas, and due to the size of the venue, WWE did a clever trick to allow larger wrestlers to get to the ring for ease. For talents such as Mark Henry, The Big Show and Braun Strowman, WWE would place them on carts and have someone drive them to the ring. Images of this surfaced on social media, and they're pretty hilarious to look at. Number 48. WWE lies about their attendance numbers. Top wrestling companies such as WWE have a habit of saying shows are sold out, but in reality, they're far from it. Take for instance Wrestlemania 3 and Wrestlemania 32. WWE highly inflated the number of fans in attendance to shatter records, and in turn make for the aforementioned events appear more popular than they actually were. Number 47. How is a superstar buried alive? The Buried Alive match is a gimmick match that has often confused fans, as it was initially hard to determine how WWE pulled off the illusion. The secret usually lies in a trap door when the dirt is poured onto the grave and the wrestler in question is usually already safely back in the locker room. Well, save for that time The Undertaker managed to pull his hand out from the grave. It was more than likely in a side compartment, which was fully breathable. Number 46. How do fireballs work? Companies such as WWE and WCW have enjoyed using the infamous fireball spot. And the secret to this common wrestling stunt is rather simple. The trick is executed when a substance named nitrocellulose is put into flash paper. When the paper is alight, then it produces a dramatic flash for a brief moment. Somehow Hogan managed to do it on himself and singed his eyebrows rather than doing it to the Warrior. Number 45. Fake crowd noise. And for almost 3 decades, WWE have been prone to using fake crowd noise. This was particularly the case when SmackDown was taped between 1999 to 2016. During this time, WWE would use fake crowd noise to manipulate how the show would be presented. This is a WWE secret that receives widespread criticism, mainly because it takes away from the authenticity of watching the WWE product. Some are familiar with that hairdryer pop that was well known on SmackDown. When else did the great Khali get a pop like that? Number 44. The referee secret. Now, have you wondered how wrestling companies give instructions to wrestlers in the ring during a match? Well, it's all down to the referee. The referee usually has an earpiece which allows the team backstage to communicate with the referee directly. The referee then can repeat the instructions to the wrestlers themselves in the middle of the match. Number 43. Commentators take live direction from management. Commentators are often fed lines from production staff backstage, and this happens a lot in WWE, specifically when Vince McMahon ran things. McMahon was prone to direct traffic and inform announcers such as Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler what to say live on air. Number 42. Hiding empty arenas. Companies such as WWE and AEW like to make a show look like it's sold out, when in reality half of the arena is actually empty. Both companies will usually shoot on one side of the arena, and the other side of the arena will be covered up with a black curtain to avoid anyone at home seeing the empty seats. Number 41. How a wrestler goes through the ring. When a wrestler is put through the ring, this is executed by removing one panel of wood from under the ring, meaning that the wrestler in question can safely and easily fall through the ring. Obviously, other wrestlers who are not supposed to go through the ring have to avoid that spot completely. Number 40. The ring collapses. When the ring collapses in the match, the ring is rigged for the exact pre-planned moment. The wrestlers should look to land in a specific location in order for the collapse to occur safely, and to make sure themselves as well as the referee aren't taken by surprise. Number 39. How wrestlers spring into the ring. Sin Cara had an exciting entrance which would see him leap over the ropes into the ring. However, shortly after his debut, the mystique surrounding this entrance quickly diminished after it was revealed that Cara was in fact using a trampoline to jump over the ropes. Following this leak, the trampoline was completely removed from his entrance, as WWE evidently didn't want fans knowing the secret behind the entrance stunt. Number 38. There's a monitor under the ring. Have you ever wondered how a wrestler who is hiding under the ring knows when it's time to appear? The secret is that they have a monitor under the ring which allows them to watch the show, and they usually even have a headset so they can communicate with the team backstage. When a return is about to go down or someone is about to make a surprise appearance in the match, a TV monitor can usually be seen under the ring. This is something that fans always look for whenever a ring skirt is lifted. Number 37. Not wrestling during the commercial breaks. When the global pandemic of 2020 changed how wrestling companies such as WWE operated, most wrestling companies were putting together shows in front of zero fans. WWE smartly realized that due to this, there was no reason for wrestlers to be wrestling during commercial breaks. Footage of this though ended up leaking online as fans could see footage of the match between Sasha Banks and Bayley teaming up with Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. All four women would stop what they were doing the moment WWE went to a commercial break, which was a smart move as it made little sense to wrestle if nobody was watching. But little did they know, some people actually were, as the advertisement didn't run in that specific location. Number 36. Scripted promos. And it's well documented that the majority of promos in WWE are scripted, but WWE have sometimes not even attempted to hide this. One major incident of this took place when Tucker walked into a live segment in 2020 with his promo script still in his hand. WWE have even outright alluded to the fact that promos are scripted in feuds such as Roman Reigns vs John Cena, as Cena would call Reigns out for forgetting his lines. Number 35. Money in the Bank at WWE HQ. A 2020 Money in the Bank ladder match took place at WWE HQ, and the event was rather unique and featured some insanely creative spots. One of these spots saw Baron Corbin proceed to throw Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black off the roof of WWE HQ. Fans were curious at how the WWE pulled this off, but a crane shot would later reveal that WWE had a crash pad laid out. Number 34. Real Beer. The iconic segment which saw Stone Cold Steve Austin spray the corporation with beer had a huge secret attached to it. According to Austin himself, WWE used 30 gallons of beer for the segment, but after that, they simply switched it to water. Number 33. Real Milk. In a similar segment which saw Kurt Angle spray the Alliance with milk, no milk was actually used for the segment. According to Angle, WWE used plain old water with white colouring to simply give the illusion of milk. Number 32. Is the sledgehammer real? The sledgehammer is a signature weapon of Triple H in WWE, and it has a problematic history. When the game started using the weapon, a fake one would be used whenever he would hit his opponent with it. However, when a fake one accidentally busted open The Undertaker at Wrestlemania 17, it was ruled that a real one should be used at all times. Triple H would then proceed to use his hand to cover up the metal part of the hammer, so no harm whatsoever would be caused to the wrestler taking the devastating weapon shot. Is the glass real? Whenever glass is used in wrestling, it's usually sugar glass. Sugar glass is relatively safe and shouldn't cut a wrestler's skin. Most fans recall the 2001 King of the Ring where Shane McMahon and Kurt Angle were supposed to incorporate sugar glass into their street fight, but WWE production accidentally used plexiglass, meaning that McMahon suffered serious lacerations. Number 30. Is the barbed wire real? As some wrestling companies allow their wrestlers to use real barbed wire in matches, but in WWE it's a little more complex. According to WWE legend Mick Foley, WWE would sometimes use real barbed wire, but on occasion would switch it out in favor of a prop version. It's believed that the fake version of the weapon uses rubber tips made of either aluminum or tin, and they're insanely thin, meaning that it does little to no damage to a wrestler who is a recipient of a trash can shot. Number 27. How did The Undertaker escape? Now, the 1998 Royal Rumble saw Kane chokeslam his brother The Undertaker into a casket. The casket would then be set ablaze, but how exactly did the dead man disappear out of the casket? Well, it turns out that the position of the casket was close to the ring apron, and the casket had a special compartment which allowed the dead man to simply roll under the ring to avoid any impending flames of destruction. Number 26. How Paul Bearer survived getting buried in cement. In 2004 at the Great American Bash pay-per-view, Paul Bearer was buried alive in cement. To pull this off, WWE would use pre-recorded footage of Bearer in the tank, whilst any live pay-per-view footage of Bearer in the tank wasn't actually Bearer, it was a trained stunt performer. Number 25. Does WWE use fake signs? And most of the signs that fans bring to shows are completely legit. But companies such as WWE have been known to hand out signs to push narrative. This was seen in 2018 when WWE handed out signs that reference fans wanting to see women's tag titles in WWE. Then naturally, just a few short months later, they were finally introduced on WWE programming. Number 24. Why do wrestlers chew gum? A gum is used by wrestlers to stop their mouth getting dry as it generates saliva. Additionally, one trick is that wrestlers will spit out the gum after a spot, and commentators like to pretend that the wrestler in question has just had a tooth knocked out. Number 23. The Money in the Bank briefcase is actually empty. As per WWE law, the Money in the Bank briefcase is supposed to contain a written contract, but in reality, the briefcase is completely empty. This was seen on Raw in 2022 as Austin Theory's Money in the Bank briefcase would fly open and the lack of contents would be exposed to the entire world. Number 22. How do blindfold matches actually work? Blindfold matches have been rare in modern wrestling, but the most well-known blindfold match took place at Wrestlemania 7 between Jake the Snake Roberts and Rick Martel. The illusion of the match was completely destroyed just seconds in, as Roberts would put his hand in the hooded blindfold and you could see his hands through the mesh, meaning that the wrestlers had the ability to see during the match. Number 21. Larger than life. WWE likes to make their wrestlers appear larger than life, and camera work can help WWE achieve the same. In 2021, during a backstage segment with the Mysterios and Austin Theory, the camera would track back to reveal that the interviewer Kevin Patrick was crouched down to appear smaller. This in turn made the other wrestlers appear much taller than they genuinely were. Number 20. Bray set on fire for real? WWE's 2020 pay-per-view calendar closed out with a Firefly Inferno match which saw Randy Orton set the Fiend on fire. To do this, WWE pre-recorded the match as no fans were in attendance and a wooden dummy was used for the main fire spot. When the Fiend was actively seen on screen, it was believed that this was actually Bray Wyatt himself. He was wearing a fireproof jacket and had fireproof gel on his skin. Number 19. Ringside Doctor. A ringside doctor is used in WWE so that talent can communicate directly to a trained professional if there's an issue. This was seen in 2021 during a match between Sheamus and Humberto Carrillo. The match featured Humberto performing a sunset flip powerbomb on Sheamus to the outside of the ring. The issue was that Sheamus came crashing down on Humberto's knee. Humberto would then signal to the ringside doctor that he was legitimately hurt and that the match needed to be called off. Number 18. Crash pads are actually used. In 2021, it surfaced that WWE had started to use crash pads during the Hell in a Cell matches. During the match between Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre, which took place at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, McIntyre was chokeslammed to the outside of the ring through a table. Interestingly, McIntyre landed on a crash pad, and this received criticism from fans who believed that a crash pad had no business in a match type of this nature. It was also used in the match between Shane McMahon and The Undertaker. When Shane dove off the top of the Hell in a Cell, you could see that the crash mat was placed in between the announcer's table. Number 17. Crew member under the ring. Speaking of the crash pad, WWE had what in theory was a smart way to dispose of any evidence of safety precautions. During the match, WWE had a crew member hiding under the ring and it was their job to hide the crash pad from being in the shot. The only issue was that the crew member did a poor job of this and his hand as well as the crash pad could be easily seen on the live broadcast. Number 16. Great lengths to hide returns. When a wrestler returns to a company like WWE or AEW, the company will go to great lengths to keep it a secret. Typically, only a select few individuals will know about the return, and on the day of the actual return, the wrestler will be hidden away. When the wrestler gets to the arena, they aren't allowed in the locker room. Instead, they are placed in a trailer or a production truck where they will remain until it's time for them to make their grand return. Number 15. Barricade spots. One spot that has risen in popularity over the past decade has been the barricade spot. A wrestler being put through the barricade has been used extensively in WWE, and there's a smart secret to it. In essence, the barricade has already been detached, and the wrestler just simply needs to fall into it with some force to knock it over. This barricade is heavily padded, meaning that it's one of the safest spots that a WWE wrestler can do in a featured matchup. Number 14. Get down from there. Now, have you ever wondered why referees tell wrestlers to get down from the top rope? Well, in theory, the wrestler should be disqualified for ascending the top rope. When the wrestler reaches the top rope, they are technically out of bounds and out of the ring. There's an established 5 count for whenever a wrestler uses the ropes for an advantage, so the 5 count applies here too. Number 13. The rope snap. The Extreme Rules pay-per-view in 2021 was main evented by the Demon Finn Balor taking on Roman Reigns. The finish of the match saw the ring ropes collapse on Balor when he attempted his finishing move, the coup de grace. The secret to how this was done was incredibly simple, as a member of the WWE production team simply cut the rope. Thanks to WWE utilizing bizarre red lighting for the match, this crew member was barely visible to viewers at home. Nevertheless, fans in attendance managed to see the trick performed firsthand. Number Number 12. Why do wrestlers come out wet? Wrestlers with longer hair typically enjoy wetting their hair before coming through the curtain. And the main reason for this is that it keeps them cool, but it also allows them to incorporate hairography into their matches. This means that their hair moves about upon them taking bumps, which in turn makes for a compelling visual for fans. Number 11. WWE actually uses fake microphones. Whenever an interview takes place backstage in WWE, a fake microphone is usually used. The microphone is usually a prop, as the sound is picked up via a boom mic. This is why wrestlers can be heard when they don't even have a microphone in hand. Number 10. Vince McMahon's limo explodes. One of the most infamous segments on WWE TV in 2007 saw Vince McMahon's limo explode. This was done using pre-recorded footage, and when the actual limo explosion went off, nobody was in close proximity to the limo, meaning that nobody was in true danger. You can even see continuity on the floor, as it's suddenly wet, and now it's not. Number 9. Are kendo sticks real? Kendo sticks have become a regular feature in modern wrestling, and WWE likes to use the weapon in any hardcore style matchup. The kendo stick is made up of hollow wood taped on both sides to hold it together. The stick should break apart after a few hits, and it is a relatively safe weapon of choice. That's unless the wood splinters off, which can lead to a laceration. Number 8. How are guitars faked? The guitar is a trademark weapon used by the likes of Jeff Jarrett and Elias. The guitars used in wrestling are usually genuine, but they are shaved off on the inside, making them light and breakable. This means that the moment they are smashed over a wrestler's head, they explode into a million pieces. That didn't however happen for Jake Roberts in 1987, as that guitar was actually real by mistake. Number 7. Are the ladders real? Now, although the structure of a ladder that is typically used in WWE is different to a standard ladder, that doesn't mean they aren't dangerous. The main difference is that the steel is hollow, making it lighter to hit a fellow wrestler, also caused by ladders over the years that simply couldn't have been avoided. Number 6. Are the chairs real in WWE? Chairs are perhaps the most used weapon in wrestling, and there is a secret to when it comes to steel chairs that most fans aren't aware of. The main difference between the chairs used in wrestling and normal steel chairs is that the rivets are broken, meaning that the chairs can be folded completely flat. This makes them much safer to use as a weapon, especially when being used across a wrestler's back. Number 5. How WWE fakes tables. Tables are one of the most iconic weapons used in a wrestling match, but they aren't that dangerous. The tables themselves are made from thin chipboard, and they can barely contain the weight of a human being. This means that when a wrestler falls through the table, an implosion occurs, creating an exciting, thrilling noise that always pops the crowd. Number 4. The role of the referee. The role of the referee goes beyond counting the 1, 2, 3, as a referee can be vital in a matchup. The referee usually knows how the match is going to play out, so if a spot is going wrong, the referee can smartly be used to ensure it goes correctly. This has been seen several times throughout wrestling history. Take for instance at the Evolution pay-per-view in 2018, Becky Lynch was attempting to reach for a chair which would allow her to escape the figure 8. Lynch was unable to reach the chair, so the referee kicked the chair towards Lynch, allowing the spot to be completed as initially planned. Number 3. Checking on a wrestler. Following a big spot in the match, it is vital that the referee checks on a wrestler to ensure that they aren't injured. To do this, the referee will go over to each wrestler and grab their hand. If the wrestler squeezes the referee's hand in return, it usually means that they're completely fine. This is an extremely smart way to ensuring wrestler safety in matches, and once you know how it happens, it's rather hard to miss when watching a match on TV. Number 2. Blood in the PG era. When it comes to blood in the PG era, it's only used in strict circumstances. One way for a wrestler to bleed is what is known as the hard way, which was seen when Brock Lesnar made Randy Orton bleed at SummerSlam in 2016. This is usually done with an elbow, and it's said to be the safe way to draw blood. Another way is via a blood capsule, and this was seen during a feud between Roman Reigns and Triple H, but this can be too obvious and can hurt the illusion. And number 1, blood outside of the PG era. The traditional way for wrestlers to draw blood in a match is by using a razor blade. This razor will usually be kept in their wrist tape or even be handed to the wrestler by a referee. A small cut on a wrestler's head will then mix with the buckets of sweat and in turn will create an impressive crimson mask appearance. But there you have it folks, 50 secrets that WWE doesn't want you to know. Are there any more secrets? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.